Hello, stay a while and listen. In this video I'm gonna share with you some binds that I believe to be utterly important for you to become a better player, and they will actually make you a better player or maybe make you less of a noob. Well, anyway, to begin with, I wanna give you my opinion on how I think about binds. For example, this bind I use in here to inspect my weapon, to look at it. I believe it is useless, completely useless. Why do I have it? Well, because people started sending me gifts and skins, so I wanted to have a bind so I can look at them during the freeze times. But if I have a button next to my left hand or my movement hand dedicated to looking at my weapon, I believe that that is a waste of a key, and also it's something that will distract you during the battle. So binds for me are meant to be some useful stuff, not things to look at your weapon. So I use the I key to look at my weapons. Move yours if it's close to your moving hand, or worse if it's on your mouse hand. That should mess with your accuracy. Well, the first bind I want to show you is the grenade binds. Basically, I have one key for each individual grenade. Why do I have this? Because, well, I don't like having to press 3 times to get a smoke grenade and maybe mess it up. For example, I thought I had a nade and a flashbang and a smoke, but I didn't have a flash, so I pull my Molotov and then I try to do it again and I cycle through it. There's a reason why we have a one key bind to get our primary weapon, our secondary weapon, our knife, the C4, and we don't use the mouse scroll to change between the guns because it's stupid. And the same thing applies to the grenades. Not even you will make less mistakes pulling out other grenades, but you will also get them faster and more efficiently and without thinking so much, without looking at your inventory, because you met, oh, I got a Molotov, well, I'm gonna press 3 times again and, oh, look, I got a Molotov again, what the fuck? Oh, look, I'm now paying attention to my inventory and I just realized I didn't have a flashbang like I thought I did, or maybe you pick one from the ground and you don't really realize in the heat of the battle. But anyway, it's gonna take a while to get used to it, but it's totally worth it, and you will never look back once you get used to these individual grenade binds. Took me like 2 weeks to never ever look back again. Playing only a few hours every day. I use the F key to my flashbang, the 4 to the nade, so F to the flashbang, C to the smoke grenade, Z for the Molotov, and X for the decoys. I had to move the radio binds to somewhere else. I used H and J and K for this purpose. I don't really use the communication from radio in game, but they are useful for studying demos. And for example, if you want to turn X-ray on and off, for me, I would use the J command or H. I don't know. Anyway, something else that this brings to the table is, well, basically people use the WASD. By the way, why did you put 2 V's one next to the other and you call it W and not double V? English, okay. Something that is intelligent to do would be to use, instead of using this finger on the W key, put it on the T. So basically you will move on your keyboard your hand to the right and you will have more keys more useful keys to your left. Basically the Alt key is gonna become your new control key, and well, maybe you can use X for walking instead of Shift. Anyway, it's something intelligent. I thought about doing it, but then I realized that I was already used to using WASD, and I don't really need more keys than the ones I am already using. But it's something that you can keep in mind and maybe try to get used to it. Well, the next bind is a bind I use to align not only smoke grenades, but any kind of grenade. For example, a Molotov. Well, if I want to throw a Molotov on Dark Room, I know I can get to this pixel and align this part of the fence with the light and throw it. But maybe this can take some time to do. I rather use my binds. Oh, how cool it is, right? To align it quickly and fast and make no mistake when I'm doing it. If I want to smoke the truck, for example, I know the way I do it, I get to this spot, I align this part of the wall with this thing, so it goes like this, and every time when I want to check it, completely wrong. It should be like this. So it's much easier for me. Keep in mind that CSGO is a three-dimensional game, and what we see in the screen is actually a planification of 3 dimensions. So there's angular stuff, and it's kind of hard to do. Oh, you align this pixel with that one. Use a bind for it, for fuck's sake. I'm kidding. And you will never miss your grenades. You are going to align them quickly, and you won't miss them. Keep in mind that a good CSGO player, he might say, well, I'm gonna smoke this side of the map. Well, it leaves a huge gap. It is smoked, but it is not a perfect smoke. If you want to be the best player possible, you must have grenades that always land exactly where you want them to land, because a gap in a smoke can be easily abused by your enemy and actually backfire on you. So some other bind that I use to throw grenades, not only smoke grenades, is the jump throw. There's a controversy regarding the jump throw, because if you want to, for example, throw this grenade, I'm not using my bind here. No matter how many times I throw it, the grenade will always behave differently. So what you must do is have a bind that to make sure that you won't miss those throws. Basically, every time I throw this grenade, it's gonna land in the exact same location, and it's also much faster to throw some grenades. For example, instead of aligning my crosshair in those weird pixels and running and timing it correctly, I can just come to a pixel and aim where it is supposed to be aimed at and just jump throw it. Well, why is there a controversy? Because some tournaments, usually nowadays every tournament is allowing it to be used, but some tournaments, they say that they ban the jump throws binds. I think it's stupid because it's just a bind. But anyway, what I think that should happen is every time you throw a jump throw, you should have like 3 levels. For example, when you're going up, when you're at the top, or when you're falling down, the grenades should behave always in between those 3 forces, those 3 different settings. So you can actually use skill to master throwing grenades if you want to bind the jump throw. It's not only for smoke grenades. For example, I can use molotovs with this, and I make sure that it is always going to land in the exact same pixel, and I'm going to throw it really fast. Anyway, I don't know if you knew about this, but you actually have infinite forces to throw grenades as well. For example, here I am holding only the left button, now both of them, and in the middle, if I let go of the grenade while my hand is in the middle, it's going to go in a different force. So it's kind of like the jump throw thing. I think it should be more standard in the game and more skill related. And well, all this discussion going on with the rifles, this is another thing to keep in mind. Anyway, the way I use my jump throw is... Oh, by the way, let me go back to this a little second. I have a bind on my mouse 5, which is smoke throw. This is not correct. It should be smoke align. I'm gonna change it in the config file that you can download in the description of this video. Well, whenever I press the mouse 5 button, this command is going to be called. So I'm going to execute this. Which is going to make my crosshair span across the whole screen. Whenever I release the button, this command is going to be executed. So my default crosshair size is 5. Maybe yours is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 12, or 5 like me. So change this value to whatever you used by default. And keep in mind that when you have a plus in front of the command, in front of the alias, it meant that when you push down the button, you execute this command, and when you release the button, you execute this one. Well, the way I use my jump throw is, some people they can put a plus walk in here so you throw them while walking. The one I use is this one. The pixels I know to throw jump throws are these one and these ones, and I use the 6 button because I wasn't using it for anything else, and I didn't want it on my mouse button because when I push it maybe I could mask the trajectory of the grenade I'm throwing, or well, and also this is a little hard to press by mistake, so I won't have my gun out and boom, press that key. So if I just align my smoke here and press the jump key, it will only jump. I need to pull it before. This is the way I use mine. You can do yours in a different way. If I need walking during the throw, I'm going to do it on my own, for example, just like I did in here. Well, this other bind is not really useful in the official CSGO matches because you can't really take advantage of it in competitive matches. Basically, this command, it replaces my usage of my E key. My E key is still useful for defusing the C4, for example, but when I'm not defusing, if I just press it, it's going to show me where the C4 is. So if I am completely smoked out and I can't see where the bomb is, I can just hit it, and then while I am holding the E key, I can just look for the bomb and defuse it in the smoke. Well, it uses an alias, and well, you basically just replace your E key, which was already doing this plus use and minus use. So I add another command in here. The way that commands in CSGO work is every line in a config file is a command. If you want to put more than one command in the same line, just use dot comma, anyway, semicolon to do it, or dot semicolon. Anyway, English, man, English. I don't really use voice to talk in game. I use TeamSpeak because I can just talk to it, and I have it set up so that whenever I talk, my voice goes through, but my keyboard noises doesn't. People around me, they don't get in through the microphone. But I wouldn't use the default key K, obviously. I wouldn't use any key on my mouse because it's gonna mess up your aim when you you should be paying attention to your aim and being consistent with it. I would rather use caps lock or the space key to use voice in game if you really want to use push to talk. Another bind that I recommend you to use are these that I use to study demos, so I can, for example, hit F8 and the demo menu is going to work. On my practice config file that I am using in here, F12, for example, it also makes the host time scale faster. So, for example, when I'm practicing alone and I throw a grenade, oh, this wasn't the one I wanted to throw. Okay, I just press it and time goes a lot faster. Or I can slow down time, etc. This is also useful when you are studying demos. Well, the 7th bind I'm going to give is also to practice the game. So when for example, if I add a bot in here, I can quickly hit F6, for example, and they're gonna crouch. F6 again, they're gonna stand up. F5, they're gonna stop. They're gonna toggle the command. So that whenever you have a toggle in front of a command, it's gonna toggle between 0 and 1. Anyway, it is useful. For example, if on my config file, if I hit F4, I can place a bot, and this can be very useful if you are forever alone practicing. Just be creative and use other binds that you might have to open to be shortcuts instead of opening the console all the time to use them. Why did I told you that you could maybe use the spacebar as a talking button for push to talk? Well, because people that used to play CS Source or CS 1.6, when bunny hopping was actually a thing, we used to. I got used to it. I got used to jumping on the scroll of my mouse because basically, it you jump like 5 times when you are about to hit the ground, so it's easier to time between the jumps, and I got used to it. So anyway, I definitely would unbind those if you don't want to put the jump binding there. I would unbind them because I don't want to cycle between the guns whenever I mistakenly or buggily my mouse does it. Well, you may have noticed that I pressed the command in here and my game became silent. This is because I am using binds to toggle my volume higher and lower. If I hit V, I get my normal volume, which is 0.5, 0.3. If I use T, my volume goes to 0.8. So whenever I'm playing the game, and I can listen to my enemies more or less so, and I can listen to the communication of my team. If I am on a clutch and I need to hear exactly everything in the game, or if I am in a position where I want to be able to get more audible information for my enemies, I can use the T key. You can actually combine those two using an alias in one single key, but when I did it, I would get confused doing it. I didn't remember which was the volume I'm setting. And I also have one just to mute the game, just when I want to alt tab or something like that, etc. When I want to just listen to music while I'm playing, I don't want to open the console all the time, or when I'm recording a video. Anyway, keep in mind that CSGO doesn't have the best sound engine around games. So basically, for me, what this means is, if you want to hear every possible footstep, you will have to get your ears blown out whenever somebody shoots an AK near you, or maybe you shoot an AK, or get a headshot when you don't have Kevlar or a helmet. Well, the last binds before moving on to the extras are the buying binds. You should have those because you want to be able to buy fast, especially if somebody wants you to drop something.
Move it, son.
So yes, just have. You can use the F1 to F12 key if you don't have a full keyboard, and there are many websites you can just Google for them that generate these scripts for you automatically. I use these ones. These are the guns I use the most. The other guns, for example, the Scout, I am not using here because I don't buy it often. I just ask whenever somebody asks me for it or I feel like buying it, I just use the menu. But one more thing good about the buying binds, the buying binds, is that you won't mistakenly buy a negav because you messed up the menu or something like that. Well, something else that can affect your performance is when you shoot people, you can actually lose visibility of your enemy because of decals. So you can, for example, for an example here, I put the 1 key so that I get my primary weapon plus it clears the decals. You can also use this control key, so when you duck, when you crouch, this happens. And just as a last extra, whenever somebody is crying, bitching, moaning, and complaining on the other side, I just hit L and I say, well, here it is in Portuguese right now, but basically I say, learn more about CSGO and Pink Floyd's channel on YouTube. Well, thanks for watching a lot till the end, and see you around. I am Pink Floyd, a student of the game Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Thank you for your attention. If you liked the video, please upload. The pleasure was all yours and the work was all mine, and see you around.